Hi, this video is an introductory tutorial for Google Slides. The example that I'm going to discuss today applies specifically to teaching in the classroom setting. Google Slides has the potential to truly transform our daily instruction. So to get started, I'm on the Google homepage. In the top right corner is the app icon, and then I'm going to choose Google Drive. With Google Drive, if I select New, I can select a new Google Slide presentation. This automatically prompts me to select backgrounds and a theme for my slide presentation. Some of the slide backgrounds obviously are more simple, and other slide backgrounds have color and themes. Because I'm going to be projecting my presentation in a very bright room on a dry erase board, I like lots of contrast and color. So I'm going to choose the Biz theme. On this first slide, I'm going to have the title of the unit that I'm teaching, which is linear functions. And my lesson today is going to be specifically how to graph lines. Now, with some of the slide templates, different fonts and the sizes come up for the text boxes. So for example, this text box automatically has a size of 72. So I'm going to highlight that and simplify that font a little bit. I'm also going to do that to the subtitle box. With the different text boxes, I can also click on it, and if I'd like to arrange where it occurs in the slide, I can move it up a little bit. I can also do bold, underline, and italics if I like those options. So I'm going to choose to italicize that text, and I'm going to change to a different font as well, just to create some contrast. Next, to add an additional slide, if I just choose the Add New Slide plus sign, a new slide will automatically be selected for me. If I use this drop-down arrow to the right, I can see the different slide options that occur. I'm going to choose the title and body format. Each day in my lessons with students, we discuss the class learning target for the day. For this particular lesson, we're going to be graphing lines using slope and y-intercept. That will be the main focus of our lesson for today. Next, I'm going to choose to add another slide. And an important formula that's going to go along with our lesson is the formula y equals mx plus b. And then as we go through class instruction, I'm going to explain to students more clearly that m stands for slope of a line, and b stands for the y-intercept of a line. As I discuss this with students, I want this information to appear at different times. So with this text box selected, I can go to Slide and change transition, so all the information does not appear at one time. I can choose Add Animation, and in my math class, these options of fade in, on click, and by paragraph are what I typically use for my slide transitions. So what that means is wherever I've used the return key and wherever I've created space, there will be transitions. If I choose play, it will demonstrate to me what will actually appear for the slide. So first, the formula will appear for students. On a click, the information about the variable m will appear, and with another click, the information about the variable b will appear. but I can control when that information appears on the slide. By choosing Stop, I go back to editing mode for my slide presentation. I'm going to choose to add another slide. And now I want students to graph a line. So I may give them the equation y equals 3x plus 5. And again, I'm going to be projecting this onto a dry erase board. So what would be really helpful is if I had an x and y axis here to graph on. So I can choose Insert, and there are many different options of things to insert. You can insert links, videos, images, shapes. For this purpose, I'm going to choose Insert an Image. And again, you can insert snapshots, URLs, pictures from your own albums, or things that you have saved on Google Drive. Again, for this example, I'm going to choose to search using Google. I would like Google to help me search for an X and Y axis. Many different options occur. I would like a plain, simple graph that students are going to be familiar with in order to graph their line. I'm going to choose that and hit select, and it appears on my slide. I can use the corner edge to resize and then move the X and Y axis to a more appropriate place for this slide. Again, because I'm going to be projecting this on a dry erase board, it's really handy to have tools like this, because using dry erase markers, I can draw right over this on my front board. Obviously, I could go through and add several more examples or more clarification. And at the end of my lessons, I like to revisit the learning target. So if I select the learning target slide, instead of retyping it later in the presentation, I can choose to duplicate the slide and then just take the duplicated slide and move it to the end of my presentation. A great thing about Google Drive in general is that all changes are automatically saved. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to retitle this presentation. It took linear functions, and I'm all set. As a teacher, using Google Slides has helped create much more flow to my instruction. It's easier to transition through slides during my class time. It also ensures that I have consistency between each class. Because I teach multiple sections of the same class, sometimes I forget what I teach to what class. And so using Google Slides creates much more consistency. Because I have a remote that I'm able to use to forward and reverse the slides, it also allows me to circulate more among my students and help them with their individual questions, which as a teacher, that's just key. So I hope this tutorial has been a helpful introduction to Google Slides. Thank you.